Morning, everyone. How are we? Yeah, you're muted, but that's good. So let's thumbs up. Yeah. All right, shoot. I'm ready when you guys are. So if you ask a question and then remute yourself, that'd be handy.
Well, Nathan, we'll start off with a bit of a fun one, I suppose, after the big story of the week. Have you managed to catch up with David, the fist bump friend, in the last couple of days?
No, I haven't. I mean, as he's detailed and I've detailed him, he's when I saw his face, it was out of context because he's been around the football club, clearly through Club 42. I see him sort of intermittently through that coterie group, which has been a great support of the football club over a number of years. But yeah, seeing him surprised me, given that it was out of context. So that was the reason for the acknowledgement, as much as the story sort of that was underlying at that point. But it's we're hyper vigilant at the moment, and I can understand the focus on it.
Will you try and get in touch with him?
I'm sure I'll run into him at some point, but no, we're not on each other's favourites list. But I suppose I do hope he's doing well. I believe that he's in Adelaide looking after his mum and dad, and has been over there for 5 or 6 weeks. I think we're all in some way just trying to get through this this reality as best we possibly can, and looking after first things first. And I'm glad that he's able to do that.
Nathan, have you stopped to think as to why he copped the feedback that he did for sticking up for you?
No, and the story that I heard was that it was actually incidental to that, but it was a part of the evening. But yeah, it's his reality. But obviously, I'm pretty sure that Collingwood supporters have copped a fair share over the time, even amongst their own. 96, I think I was booed roundly by the Collingwood faithful because they believed I was going to go to Port Adelaide the next year. So it's amazing how things come about. We've got to remove ourselves from the moment at times to actually not get caught up in things that we believe may or may not be true.
Nathan, will your captain, or how's your captain going? And Saturday come or tomorrow come too soon for him still? His recovery?
No, tomorrow can't come soon enough for Pendles because he's right to go and looking forward to playing. We have our light run this afternoon, and we'll clarify our final team at that point. But he's done everything in his power, and he's up and physically ready to go.
Bucks, can we get you to run for a few of the guys that is potential guys coming back in? Jamie Elliott, Will Hoskin Elliott, Darcy Moore, Ben Reid, these sort of guys. Can you give us any insight on where they're at?
Yeah, all of those guys didn't play on the weekend, even though they were able to. Jamie copped a slap across the chops, and it was some question marks on whether he was going to be able to travel or not, whether he was going to be able to fly, due to sort of a knock to the ear. So that sort of made what was going to be a likely decision a foregone conclusion. But he's right to go. Darcy Moore, Ben Reid, Will Hoskin Elliott are all up and about. Pendles himself. So there's a few guys there that fresh legs that we believe are ready to go and will help us buffer this compression period. But clearly what's gone is not relevant anymore. But present ourselves as best we possibly can tomorrow against Melbourne.
You obviously endured one lot of the condensed fixture now, and we're going to look. How do you think you've fared? I mean, I know you've had some soft tissue concerns, another one with another injury with Braden Sire. Are you ready for another condensed fixture so soon?
Yeah, well, look, we're in an environment at the moment where you just ready for whatever comes, and okay, well, you just let us know what we need to do and we'll go get it done. We believe we've got a really deep squad, and we've shown that over the last sort of 2 or 3 weeks, to be honest. I think only the Swans have played more players than we have, and we've still got some boys here. Tom Langdon and Levi Greenwood are pushing for their opportunities late in the year, and they're potentially going to be around the mark. Probably Levi's on his way there, and Tom's still got some work to do, but he's heading in the right direction. A couple of our young fellas are yet to be able to make their mark, but we're really confident about our capacity to play a brand of footy that is going to challenge the best sides. We're defending really well. We know that there's some upside in our offence, and probably comes about with our ability inside to be cleaner and find a little bit more time and space with ball in hand when we go forward. But compressed fixture or not, we're ready for whatever comes our way, and believe that we're in really good shape.
Nathan, were you guys consulted about the prospect of another compressed fixture, or you just cop what you get?
Oh look, the AFL through the football managers have been, I suppose, sharing the information that they have as we've gone along. I mean, largely it's been, we've been in, in New South Wales, WA, and Queensland, and then flew down to South Australia in the last sort of 2 weeks. So that's pretty much the lot of an AFL staff member at the moment in clubland, whether you're a player or a staff. So, we understand that this is going to be very different. It's very transient. We assume that we know what the future holds, but I think what 2020 has shown us is that we don't actually know exactly what's going to happen. So, it's become normal for us to know that we know what round 12 looks like. We know what round 13 looks like. It's become normal for us to not look any further than the next couple of days or the next couple of weeks. So that's our reality, and we get the information generally after you guys. But when we get it, we utilise it as best we can, and then we go to work.
Bucks, have you got any intel for us on Max Gawn?
Well, he's getting around the facility, and he was asking for ice about 24 hours ago, so whatever that means. Look, he's obviously a gun player, and if he's there, he's going to ask us a question. But we have a belief that next man up, we can cover whoever is out of our side, and we've got quite a few boys at the moment that are unavailable. But we're really confident about the side that we're going to be able to put out on the table. So it only follows that an opposition are going to feel the same. If he's there, then a greater challenge for us. If he's not, I'm pretty sure that there'll be a fit, hungry player that'll be ready to go. So whatever their 22 is, we're not looking over the fence that much. We'll make sure we look after our stuff. Although we're inside the fence, so there you go.
Sorry, Bucks, he just dropped out of my end just before. It's just on Braden Sear. He's definitely out.
Yeah, look, he had he injured his quad at the end of the first quarter against the Crows. And what we saw for the rest of that game was enormous growth, really, from a young player who found a way to contribute to a really important win for us in a really important role, and had a really solid second half. He wasn't actually able to kick on that right leg because he'd felt something down just above his knee, and it ended up being quite a significant injury. But he was able to push through that and contribute to a win at that moment. He was, the injury itself is quite. It's not a common injury. It's basically the muscles sort of come away from the tendon a little bit at the lower part of the quadriceps, and I think that's going to take a little bit of time for it to heal. I think it's 4 to 6 weeks at this point. But as I said, I thought it was an amazing effort from a young fellow who stood up when he was required and needed by the team.
you touched before, Nathan, on the way you're playing your footy. Obviously happy with the defence, but want to keep improving in terms of ball movement and that sort of stuff. Do you also sort of not accept, but accept more than you would normally that in terms of still grinding out results, given the fixture squeeze and how quickly the games are coming? Do you just have to grind it out at some point?
Yeah, look, we understand that there's a lot of upside in the way we're going about it. I think that the nature of analysis of football and football teams and football performances over the last couple of weeks in particular hasn't been deeply nuanced. I think it's been pretty broad brush, and it ignores some of the realities that the teams are facing. I think we've forgotten that we're in 2020. I think we've forgotten that a lot of clubs are living remotely. The families are back in most hubs now, but I think we forget that we're playing sort of games off 4 and 5 day breaks. I think we're forgetting that there's no second tier competition to prepare your players as per normal. I think we're forgetting that there's no full ground contact sessions to prepare your players. So we shouldn't be surprised at what we're getting competition wide, which is a fair fluctuation in performances from week to week from teams that you think are going to perform better than they do. And I think that that's a very natural thing to occur. So whilst there's been criticism about certain performances at certain times, and we've been included in that, I think that it's been pretty myopic perspective on the assessment of some performances of teams in this reality. And in the end, we'll only look in retrospect of how teams have handled it and what position they've put themselves in. Not only at the end of the home and away, but also in their own selves, physically, mentally, and emotionally, to be able to have a crack at finals if and when they come around.
So how do you crack that code, Nathan, to master 2020?
Well, we're in the process of it right now, and I think we're doing a pretty good job. You've just got to do well enough against every opposition to get the points. 4 points are crucial. I think in any given season you look back and there's what ifs with it. I mean, we really should have finished off the Giants 5 or 6 weeks ago, and those 4 points would have really helped us along the way, but ultimately they won that game. We lowered our colours against West Coast and Fremantle. Probably had a couple of really down weeks there, but on the whole, we've performed quite consistently. Our defence and our contests have been pretty much best in the comp. We're the best contested ball side in the comp. We're the best aggregate score against side in the competition. The least inside 50s against. So we've got some things to build on. We've got some things to hang our hat on, but we're not satisfied where we are. We want to be better. So we'll just keep chasing that, and that's the equation, and we'll find out what's on the other side of it.
Nathan, I think there was news yesterday on the severity of Adam Treloar's hamstring. Sort of 5 weeks was looking like the case. Geez, you must just really feel for him, and he's really going to be racing the clock, isn't he?
Yeah, and look, we don't know. Once again, Ads is he's got he's got some tendon involvement in that injury, which is going to push it out a couple more weeks. But a couple more weeks could be 5 games, or it could be none. We don't really know what the season is going to look like beyond round 13. We want to qualify for finals, and we're going to be doing everything we possibly can. And that sounds like it's going to be sort of late September, early October, but it could be November, it could be December. So we're pretty open-minded about what we can't control, and we're really focused on the things we can. So those boys that aren't up and about at the moment are doing everything they can to make sure that they get fit and ready and they can contribute as soon as possible. And the blokes that are fit and ready are really loving the fact that they get a chance to play footy and contribute to the greater good, which which is the major reason that you're involved in the footy club.
Is Isaac Quainer healing like you thought it would? I suppose it was a bit of a unique one and no one really knew how it would go, but is it working?
Well, I haven't actually taken the dressing off to have a look myself, Lauren, but the docs tell me that it's coming along well. And there's a bit of salt water around the place, so that helps for him. He's eating well, he's sleeping well, he's doing everything that he can. I'm sure he'll be back soon enough, but it was a significant laceration and pretty unfortunate. Look, he's a very positive young man. He's fit and firing, and